For my videographer, this is the, gosh, what do you call this? What the unit test is going to be like. That's a good title. What the unit test is going to be like. All right, now all of you need to have in your hand the handout that the title is multiple choice. At the title, at the top of it says multiple choice. So if you don't have that yet, someone pause me. Just kidding. Someone pause it and then hand those out. So I'll wait a second so somebody walks over and hits the pause button. All right, so you got the handout that says multiple choice. Let's go through this. If I take the unit test, and I made this exactly like what the AP test will be. Half of it's going to be multiple choice, half of it's going to be short answer, or what they call short essay kind of deal. All right, look at number one. On the AP test, you'll have 55 multiple choice questions, and you'll have 55 minutes to complete each one. So that averages how many a minute? 1 a minute. And you've got to, there is a time test, and the unit test you will take will also be timed. So you can't piddle around. You got to tally-ho the fox. 1 minute per question, but do not spend that on each question. Get some in your bank. Some of them you will know right away. Some of these questions you'll just know real quick, and boy, boom, hit those. Get that in your bank. I mean, it'll take you 10 to 15 seconds to do this one. Well, that leaves you 1 minute and 45 seconds for another one that you really have to think about. So the ones you know real quick, you feel confident with, don't second guess yourself. You know, man, that's it. Then boom, hit it and go. All right, look at B. There will always be a reading that relates to 2 to 5 questions. Do the reading quick. Don't try and memorize it. You've never seen the reading before, so don't freak out that you don't know it. Now, on the unit test you're getting in here, you're going to have a staple packet with all the sources. And it'll say questions 1 through 4 from source 1. And then you'll have the questions on another one, on another sheet. That this will all make sense to you when you get this. So when you read that little, and they're all a little small, you know, about like this, read it quick. Don't try and memorize it. When I pulled all these together, I have never seen any of them before. And I've been doing this a long time. So don't freak out. I don't know this. You're not supposed to know it. That's what they're testing you. You know, they're not going to give you something you've seen before. So you just read it real quick, you know, and go as fast as you can. Don't sit there trying to memorize this like you're going to be asked something from it. All right. Quick. Don't try to memorize it. Okay. Letter C. It also can be a graph or a map. And on your test coming up, I don't remember what I have. I know there's 2, either graphs or maps. That you have to use. Man, it will say questions 28 through 31 from this source, and that's what you pull it from. In the reading, always look at the title and the author. Knowing the author can really help you. For example, if the author is King Bob, then he's going to be biased for himself. Always look at the title. We don't ever look at the title. I mean, if it says The Adventures of Marco Polo or whatever, it's not even in this unit, you look at the title. You've got to look at the title. And look down at the bottom who the author is. You can get a lot of information. You know, wow, this guy sounds Portuguese. You know, and you're thinking, what did Portuguese do? Well, they were pretty good traders along the west coast of Africa. They tried to set up the trading post empire. I mean, you've got all kind of stuff that it could possibly be. Look at the date. This is huge. If it is comparing 2 eras, you need to know which eras. Look down at that date. For example, the dates before 1450 and ask you some question, and one of your answer choices is transatlantic voyages. There weren't transatlantic voyages before then. You've got to look at the date. They're very important. The title, the author, the date. The title, the author, the date. Oh my, the title, the author, the date. The title, the author, the date. All right. Look at number F. Letter F. Don't spend too long on any one question. Get it down to 2 answers. In other words, mark out 2 you know aren't it, and then move on. I sound like I'm a 3rd grader. I don't have my glasses. When you get through, come back and do the ones you missed. This way, you only have 2 answer choices to deal with. So basically it becomes a multiple choice test. That's stupid. Scratch that out and put basically it becomes a true-false test. On your first reading, you're going through there and you go, oh, no, it's not that. Wrong error. Oh, and that's not it. He wasn't even over there. But there are two. Man, I don't know. It could be either one of those. Think for a second. Think. Try and see if you can do it. And then go. Go on to the next one. Skip it. And then when you come back, you get through all of them, you come back, you only have two answer choices. Don't look at those other ones. You're wasting, you've already used that time. You look at just those two and then you think more and try and come through with the right answer. Letter G, finally, guess and go. If you can't figure out which one it is, guess one. Do not leave anything blank. You don't get counted off for incorrect answers. So it's stupid to leave something blank. And plus, you got a coin toss. You've got it down to 2. So just, anything else, just guess and go. Don't spend too much time on that. All right. Number 7, if the question says from the reading, then you only use what is in the reading, not your knowledge of world history. If it says from the reading and your knowledge of world history or social studies, then you do that. Several of the questions say from the reading. And you're thinking, hey, yeah, but I know what's really going on. No, if it says from the reading, you take it only from the reading. don't try. The ones that say from the reading only are snaps. It's an open book test, for goodness sake. You love those. But when it says from the reading and your knowledge of world history, then you got to combine the both. You got to combine what you've learned in here and from the reading. All right. That's the multiple choice part. You have 30 questions coming up on your unit test. And what I'm going to do is the first real big one here. I'm going to give you 40 minutes, a little over that time. And we're going to have several of these, and we'll finally, towards the end, we'll get it right on where it needs to be. So I'm going to give you some extra time with that because it's your first time to see this. And plus the way I had to do the test, because I don't have all the bells and whistles that they'll have the source right here, then the questions right under it. Well, I couldn't do that. I have all the sources in the pamphlet, and I have all the questions in the pamphlet. But they match. It tells you which one. And make sure you're looking at that. Make sure, it'll say questions 24 through 30 are from source 7. You go through and find source 7. Source 7 also says questions 24 through 30. So you kind of double check there. Make sure you're on the right one. All right, short answer. You will have 4 short answers on the AP test. But on this unit test, we're only going to have 2. We're going to have 2. You have about 12 minutes for each one. But on the AP test, I'm going to give you 15 minutes this first time for each one. Now, basically, you have 30 minutes to do them both. If you do one in 3 minutes, that's if you got 27 minutes left to do the other one. Watch your time. Always watch your time. We've got that clock up there, so you'll know what it's going to be. Read the question. If it says identify, then only identify. You don't do anything else. In other words, if it says identify who the 2 people were most involved in the Protestant Reformation, you should say the Pope and Martin Luther King were most involved in the Protestant Reformation. That's it. They just ask you to identify. Now, if it says identify and explain, then you have to go into detail. You got to explain. The Pope, head of the Catholic Church, was doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing, selling of indulgences. Martin Luther comes along, a brainiac, new theology, you just romp on it with that. But read the question. And as you're writing, always go back and read the question. Now, Mrs. Fishnick is going to grade the multiple choice part. Please, Mrs. Fishnick, I appreciate it if you could do that. I'm going to grade the essay. I'm going to send a kid up there at the end of each day, get the essays, and I'm going to come home and I'm going to type the comments just like I've done before. Don't waste my time. If you don't know, just I'll quit. I don't know. I'll tell in a heartbeat if you don't know what you're talking about, just rambling. And always look at that question. Every 17 seconds, look at that question. I don't know how many times, we've done this a couple times before, and I type a little stuff in. What are you talking about? This is nothing in the question. You're wasting time writing all this stuff. It's not in the question. Read the question. Or lots of times, hey, you missed this part of the question. Or the question asked you to do this, and you didn't. You did this. Read the question every 17 seconds as you're writing it. Then you look back, read the question every 17 seconds, and make sure you're doing nothing but the question. Read the question how long? Every 17 seconds, read the question. All right. I believe that's it. You're going to do it. Don't freak out. Study your notes. You're in good shape. The test is very challenging. There's no doubt about it. You're going to have to you're going to have to go into some heavy duty thinking. You can do it. If you've got those notes in your brain, you can tie all this together. And so those sources are so cool because somebody's almost word from my stuff. I mean, not too much, maybe a sentence or two, but some of that's going to look so familiar to you. You go, oh man. And some of them you've never seen. I don't have a clue what this is. When I was putting these together, I read this one. I go, I've read tons of stuff. I've never heard this document. So don't freak out if you don't know it. Read it quickly. Read it quickly. Look at the title. Look at the author. Look at the date. All right. Good luck to you.